Hey guys, welcome to Facebook Ads Best Practices. Understanding the basics of Facebook ads to wow your potential clients, as well as to set yourself up for your own ad success when the time comes to run ads for your own business. So in this masterclass, we are going to discuss a little bit about the business manager, why a business needs it, why the client needs to set it up themselves, and how they can add you to this. We will also discuss the Facebook pixel, what's used for, how to find it on a website to see if businesses actually have a Facebook pixel installed, and what are the different types of event pixels. Campaign objectives. We're going to discuss what are these ad objectives and what objectives work for whatever type of ad campaign you are trying to run. Building a custom audience. We will learn how to create an audience from a client's custom lists and how you can create lookalikes from them. Then we will learn how to build targeted audience using demographics and interest-based targeting to really hone in on that audience on that cold market level. And then finally, we're going to discuss client expectations, understanding how a client's budget will affect the expectations they should have, as well as knowing how to position yourself as the expert. So the business manager. A business manager is a critical component that all businesses should have set up in order to run ads for them. They can go to business.facebook.com and it will walk them through all of the prompts to set up their business manager correctly for their business page. It is very foolproof. It is literally a step-by-step procedure for them to do this. If you have not done it for yourself, you can also go to business.facebook.com and run through how to set up your own business manager. Once the business manager has set up, it can then create an ads manager within it. And this is the component that you will need in order to run ads for the client. Now, the reason why the client needs to set this up is that you are only allowed 2 business manager new creations in any account. That means even for yourself, you can only have 2 business managers created. So once those 2 are created, you do not get any more. So if you were to create your client's business manager on their behalf, you would then essentially be losing the ability to have a first or a second business manager for yourself. So it is very, very important that you let your client know this is a part they have to do. You can certainly walk them through it, and you can certainly show them how that is done, but they need to do this part themselves. Once it is created and they have an ad account attached to it, then they can add you to it. This is what their business manager should look like once they have created it. So you can see that they have a page attached to it, and then they have an ad account attached to it as well. Once those things are created, they can then go in and add you as an admin. Once they hit business settings, now again, my ad manager may look a little bit differently than yours, but keep in mind that the principles are all still the same. So no matter what your ad manager or your business manager looks like, you are going to find business settings. Once you find business settings, you'll have something that looks like the left-hand side, where it gives you a whole bunch of options. The first one that'll pop up is people, and that's the one you need. At the top, you'll see people and you'll see the ability to add. And this is what the screen will look like once you hit that add button. So it is very simple for them to enter your email address. This is the email address associated with your Facebook account. And once they've added that in, they can select the admin access and be able to add you to it. Now, there has been problems with businesses having to accept you as a friend in order to be able to send you this request. So if they try the first time with the email address and it doesn't work, They need to friend request you on Facebook, and then they should have the ability to add you as an admin. Once they've added that, you have the ability to add both pages for permissions, and you can see below pages on that drop down there is add account. So they can add you to both at the same time. The set permissions, if you scroll down to the end, there will be one for admin access, and they can select that one and it will go through. And you will get an email notification that says you have been added to the business manager and you need to accept that request. And then you would be added to the ads manager after that. The Facebook Pixel. This is a lovely tool, and it comes in handy a lot of the times for not only determining what businesses don't have a pixel, but how that pixel can get that data for you. So I'm just going to stop this a sec. We're going to jump over into my ads manager. And off to the side, you'll see events manager. This is how you get to a pixel. If a client has not created a pixel, they will have a screen that comes up saying create a pixel. And again, it is very simple and will have step-by-step abilities to be able to walk you through that. So what a pixel does is it's a line of code that goes on a website, a funnel program, an opt-in page, anything that you want to be able to track data for. And as you can see on my pixel, I have a couple events that I track for. And then it gives you these lovely handy charts that tell you what is happening with that pixel. Now, in order to determine if the business has been set up with a pixel already, or if they don't have a pixel running, is through your Chrome browser. You will download the Chrome extension, Facebook Pixel Helper, and then it'll give you this lovely icon here. If it is grayed out, this will tell you that they do not have a Facebook pixel on it. In my case, the pixel is highlighted blue and it has a number next to it. So it tells you that I have a Facebook pixel installed and then what those events are that are installed on my site. So this is a handy way to see if your client already has one or if they do not, or when you are essentially prospecting new clients for work, you can see whether they have a Facebook pixel on their page and be able to pitch them on the idea that they are not tracking the data of their website and they are essentially losing money as they go. So once a pixel has been installed, they would need to have it added to their website. And if they have a web team, the web team should be very easy to get that data in there for them. Same thing with any other funnel program they may be running. Once the pixel is installed and the events are firing, you will see that this data is here. So most pixels, you have just a basic base, which is just page views. So it's just going to calculate how many people have hit any page on that website. It's more referred to as a base pixel. So this base pixel will give you all of that basic information. This is the event, the base pixel code. So this is the code that they would hand off to their web developer to add to their websites or their funnel programs. Event codes are specific events that you want to track someone's action on. So this can include things like add to cart, complete registrations, purchases, lead generation, and really anything that gives you just a little bit more data on what your audience is doing. So if you were to say, have a product that you wanted to track through an ad, how many people have purchased it, then you would have a purchase event code added to that, the thank you page after a purchase. And it's just a simple line of code that's get added to the end of the pixel in order to track. So let's say you were pricing in US dollars and you had a value of $49 that you wanted to track. By taking this code and adding it to that thank you page of your purchase, you would be able to track all of the people that purchased that product at that price point. And then that would show in the data of your ad. The same thing can be done for webinar registrations. If you were tracking who was registering for a webinar, a complete registration code would work for that. And usually there is no value associated with an opt-in of some sort. So you can just leave it as blank. Complete registrations can also track people who are opting into an email marketing funnel. So if you had a freebie or a free download or an offer that someone would enter their email address in and would then essentially be put on your client's email list, you can track those complete registrations to be able to determine what that price point is for growing their email list or growing how many people visit their webinar and sign up for their webinar. Some of the other ones are lead. Complete registration and lead are sometimes interchangeable. I prefer doing a complete registration for things like an opt-in, so a webinar, a free email download or something like that. And then using lead pixel as tracking when a business has an actual lead to something. So I use a lead pixel for when my clients need to drive people to a scheduler to schedule a call with their sales team for their high-end products. And that way I can track the lead of those people going through. As you can see on the chart, it'll just outline all of those events that happen. And then you can actually view the details within each event. So as you can see on mine, I had 40 complete registrations. So that is when I was running ads, I had 40 events that happened over the course of that period of time. So this is a 30-day period. This is when I actually had a post on a Facebook page that drove traffic to my opt-in. So you can see that that shows how many people had jumped up from there. So it tracks not only what happens during your ad, but it tracks all the general daily information. So even on your organic level, you can be able to track what is happening to that specific event on that page. Campaign objectives. So when you run an ad, there's more to an ad objective than just sending people to a website. We need to know what are those ad objectives that we can use, what objectives work best for what type of campaign we are trying to run, and let's go over a couple of them. When you go to create a new ad, this is the first screen that'll kind of pop up for you as to what you want to do. So what is your marketing objective? So you have a bunch of different considerations for your objective. You have awareness, considerations, and conversions. Now, I'll be honest, most of these are things you probably won't be using when you are starting out with ad management for a client. So there are a few specific ones that you will likely be using the most on. So we're going to talk about those ones in particular. The first one is a traffic ad. So the objective for this one is exactly what you think it is. It's driving traffic to a website, a landing page, an opt-in, whatever it is that you want someone to view. This is what a traffic ad does. Within the traffic ad, you have the ability to run for link clicks or landing page views. Essentially, they are the same thing. However, Price variations can vary depending on whether it is a link click or a landing page view. The difference is a link click objective will optimize for an audience that will click the link on your ad, but not necessarily wait for that click to load. A landing page view is optimizing for an audience who will not only click the link, but will allow that landing page to actually become visible. So a lot of times the cost on a landing page view can be a little bit higher than the link clicks. But essentially they do the same thing. They're driving traffic to a website. Depending on budget and what the overall objective of that campaign is for your client, you may just want to drive traffic as quickly and as cheaply as possible, and link clicks would work. Or if you want to really be able to look at who is hitting that landing page, then landing page views is a better objective. You do have the ability on either one in your data to be able to see the link clicks versus the landing page views. And you would be able to determine whether people are actually hitting the landing page. And if those numbers do match, then you know that it is a successful landing page and things are working well. If you had a significant amount of link clicks, but the landing page views were not matching up, that would be a good indicator that maybe your site is not loading fast enough and people are giving up and closing down before they even land on that page. So some things to kind of look at in the data when it comes time. Traffic ads are perfect for driving traffic to blog posts. This is a great way to get more eyes on a particular post. You can use it for watching a video on your site. You can use it to get eyes on a certain page, funnel, or opt-in, and it is essentially used for brand awareness. So these can be relatively cheap ads to run simply because all they are optimizing for is a click through to a specific page. Video view ads. These are ads that capture the viewers on a specific video. These are one of my favorite types of ads to run because they are the only ad objective you can do where you can actually retarget the people who have viewed even a small portion of that video in a later campaign. And these can be any length, but for a cold audience, you want to keep them as short as possible in general. So this means something less than even 1 or 2 minutes essentially can perform much better than if you had a 15-minute video running, especially to cold audiences. So these types of ads are perfect for cold audience brand awareness and just the ability to retarget this audience later in a warm traffic ad. Engagement ads. So these are essentially ads that are created from a specific post on a page, or they are an ad created to drive engagement to that ad so you can build up your clients' page likes for their Facebook page. These are great for brand awareness, increasing page likes, increasing event responses, and increase engagement on a post. So this is a really good way to just get more eyes on a specific post. Generally, these are posts that have some sort of call to action in a sense. Maybe they're something that you have a specific event that you want people to show they're interested in. Maybe you have a contest or a giveaway that you're running for a client. These are a really great way to get more engagement on those. And they're just a really good way to bring up the Facebook likes with a more targeted audience that is already engaging with their content. A conversion ad These are ads where you want that pixeled information for. So as we talked about in the pixel, a conversion is for anything like purchases, complete registration, leads, email opt-ins, etc. Those are the ads that you would want to run in order to be able to track those events. So anyone who purchased a product and then whoever did a complete registration or signed up for your email list, those are the ads that you want to be able to do for those. So they not only track who has registered or purchased from it, but it actually gives you the cost per those purchases in your data. So if you know, if you run, let's say, an email opt-in for a complete registration, and you are getting 50 emails on your list from it, it'll determine through that ad what the cost per email is. And then you would be able to know where those ads lie within the industry standards and know what needs to be improved on in your next round of ads to be able to either bring that ad cost down lower or to try something new to see how it better hits. And then your lead generation ads. So the specific objective for lead generation is if they wanted to have an ad that sent people directly to a pop-up screen to fill in a form that would be for any service-based type of industries where you would need to get on a call with someone to make a sale. So these are designed for specific businesses, more like real estate, anyone in the trades, car repairs, car dealerships, dentists, et cetera, et cetera. They would enter in information through that little form, and then you would be able to get that information in the ad in your ads manager itself, and be able to collect that information or to have it created through a spreadsheet where your client would be able to access that immediately. This allows for a fast turnaround on a product or service that requires a call. You would get that information in real time the second someone has submitted that form. It would then be able to fire into your CRM, and you would be able to have your client call those people almost immediately. With these type of ads, they are designed for the fast response. They are not ones that you want to run if your client cannot get back to these people within a few hours. People have a short attention span, so if you wait any longer than an hour after submitting that form, you will essentially lose that client because they likely forgot that they even filled it out. So these are really great for those service-based industries, but it needs to be done with a complete system in mind. And they need to have a proper CRM for being able to be able to track that data and be able to respond to it fast. Building a custom audience. How to build an audience from a custom list. So we're going to jump back into the Ads Manager. So whatever your Ads Manager looks like, you're going to go to Audiences. And it'll look something like this. So to create a custom audience, you go to Create Audiences, Custom Audience, and it'll bring up this lovely pop-up. So these are the different ways that you can create a custom audience, depending on what your client has for lists. So if they have a website that has a fair amount of traffic on it, and again, this has to be pixeled. So the faster they can get the pixel on that and be able to track those people, the easier and quicker you'll be able to make this custom audience out of. So with a website, it'll be very simple. It will add people to the audience who meet any of their criteria. So this is the pixel. And you can track all website visitors who visited within a certain period of time. I think it goes up to 180 days. So 6 months worth of people who have hit that pixel. Hit that page. Excuse me. This is what tracks under the base pixel. So any page on your website that has a pixel on it, you'll be able to lump all those people together in this audience. You can also specify specific events from that audience on your website. So if I wanted to be able to track people who hit my complete registration, so that is they've gone in and opted into my email list, I would be able to select complete registrations and again be able to select 180 days of those people that registered for one of my opt-ins. In this case, we'll do all website visitors, and then you can name it. So in my case, my business, website visitors, 180 days. You can put a date too, so you know when you created that list. But essentially, this will regenerate if it's used in your audience the whole time. So once you create it, your custom audience was created. And then you can send ads specifically to all of the people who have hit your website. Now, the great thing is once you've created a custom audience, you then have the ability to create a lookalike audience. Now, a lookalike audience can only be created, it works best to be created with as much data as that pixel can give it. So a pixel, to create that custom audience from the pixel, you have to have at least 100 hits on that pixel in order to create that custom audience. And then the more you can get, the better that lookalike audience will be able to track and look like those people. So once you've been able to create that custom audience, you can just go ahead and create a lookalike. So again, you can create it based off of your pixel. This comes up, and I'm not sure why, but you don't need to worry about an event with value. And then just reconfirm your location. So if you wanted to track people within the United States or within Canada, this is, you do have to put a country in there. And this is the simplest way to do that. Select your audience size. So you can create an audience size that just looks at the first 1% of that pixel data that you've already created. You can create it up to 2%. You can create it from 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Like you can really kind of play around with what that looks like. I usually stick to the 1%. Sometimes I will jump up to 2%. It just depends on how big of an audience I'm looking for. And if I already have enough pixel data that I'm confident that lookalike will actually be the right people. And then it's as simple as creating a lookalike. Oh, so you can see in my case, my source is too small and I need at least 100 people in the same country. So we'll actually remove, I think if we remove Canada off, I should be able to now. Oh, no. In either case, it'll come up and it'll be able to tell you, and it'll create that lookalike for you. And in fact, I already have one for some reason. I don't know why it won't let me do it again. But this is my lookalike. And then again, it just gives you that data. And that was created from, in fact, it was, this will tell you what campaigns it is currently being used in or what it was used in previous. You can also create a custom audience from a customer list. So this is an email list. So if they had a rather large email list that you wanted to be able to target or create a lookalike from, you could upload a customer list. It does need to be a CSV or a text file, and that should be a simple thing for their admin to be able to hand off to you. You can also track for video. So as we said earlier with that video view ad campaign, that you can track who has seen even 3 seconds of a video and be able to create an audience from them. And that's how you would do it, is by clicking the video. You can also target people who have visited an Instagram page as well as your Facebook page. So these are some really powerful ones as well. The good thing about these ones too is they're also a really powerful way to grow those lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences are very, very powerful for a cold audience growth. And those are the ways to build those custom and lookalike audiences. Building a targeted audience. So we just showed how to build the custom audiences. And now sometimes you want to attract that cold audience to bring people into your funnel. And we have to be able to attract the right kinds of people. So we're going to show you how to do this using demographics, interest-based targeting, and how you can really get deep onto what that looks like for your client. So we will go back over and we're going to create a saved audience. And this is where you get to have a little bit of fun. But this is critical that your client understands who their audience is. They need to be very specific on the people they are talking to. So if your client comes to you and says, I want to reach everyone who wants to buy my product, please tell them to go back to the drawing board and really map out who they are speaking to. It helps if they actually consider thinking of one particular individual that they want to speak to and be able to figure out that person's likes and dislikes and interests, because that'll really help hone in on who your ads need to speak to in order to reach the right people. It's as simple as adding in your audience name. So let's say we were looking for small business owners. And we were looking for everyone within Canada, the United States, maybe United Kingdom. So you can specify into your locations. If you are a local-based audience, you can also do a local audience. So in my case, if I wanted to target my city, I could get very specific on that. So it'll give you a map, and you can adjust the map into a radius, so you can bring it down even further. I think it does only go up to 50 miles. So you do have the ability to kind of really get deep onto who those people are. With a local audience, though, just be aware that those audiences are going to be a lot smaller. So you do want to be very, very specific on who you are speaking to and what their likes and dislikes and interests are. So we'll just add back in our countries. Good. So as you can see here at the top, it gives you potential audience reach. So right now we're talking to 290 million people. As you can imagine, we don't want to talk to 290 million people. It would be a waste. We would not be able to target them with anything, because all we know is that they live in these locations and they're from 18 to 65 years of age. So we want to get more specific. So let's say we wanted to talk to business owners who are between the ages of 30 and 55. Maybe they're just women. They speak English. And then this is where you have to get very specific, is your detailed targeting. So it does give you the ability to add suggestions. The only problem with suggestions is Facebook is telling you these are the most common ones being used. So this can mean that these are ones that are going to be filled with more people that might be in that audience you're looking for. So they may not be as detailed that you need. This also does determine what your previous suggestions were. So if you are starting from scratch, they may not have any good suggestions for you. So based on mine, these are things that I had looked at previous for clients, and these are the ones that come up. So when starting off, you do have the ability to browse. So you can search by demographic, by interests, and behaviors. Specifically, you can get right down into parents, life events, whether someone just got married or divorced, what their relationships are. You can also get into the interest, and this is where the fun lies. Now, you can go through all of these specifically and have a look. I like it more in a quicker way. So we are targeting small business owners. So we want to look for small business first. So you can see we have a whole bunch of options that pop up, and it tells you the category that they're in. A lot of times you're looking for interests. Behaviors sometimes will also be a factor. And chances are employers, depending on what you're looking for, you may or may not want to attract employees. So in this case, we're probably interested in small business. We'll see if there's any other ones in there. Maybe they are a small business owner. So they have, as you can see in the description there, it says people who listed their employer as small business owner. So it targets just a small percentage of people that have listed that. You can see the sizes there. Maybe they've been to a small business expo. Maybe they are an owner of their business. So they are an owner. Maybe they are a founder. We'll see if founder comes up. Job title founder. So you can target people who are founders. Now, if we were to target just these people, you can see we're still hitting 16 million. And that is still quite broad for a small business owner. So maybe we need to get more specific on the type of small business owner, or maybe we know those small business owners have specific products they use, or the things that they follow on Facebook themselves. So let's see maybe if any of them are on Canva. Maybe they use Dubsado. Does Dubsado come up? No. Maybe they're ClickFunnels doesn't, but maybe they are a ClickFunnels user, so they obviously would follow Russell Brunson. Oh, and you see now we've actually increased that audience, and that's fine. Once we have a list of those specific detailed targetings, we get more specific to the people we're talking to. So in this case, we're talking to anyone who matches at least one of these categories. But you can actually narrow that further, and they must also match something else. So let's say we wanted to target ClickFunnels users. We would then want to make sure they match Russell Brunson, because those are the people that are likely ClickFunnels users or are aware of the product. And then you get a little bit more specific. So you can see now we've dropped down to 3 million people just by doing that one shift to be able to target anyone who matches any of these types of targeting, but they must also match a Russell Brunson targeting. So you can kind of play around and see what works best for your audience. So maybe you are targeting new moms, so you can get very specific on the demographic of a parent. Mom, I believe, comes up with a whole bunch. So not only what they are looking on Facebook, but you have the ability to target people who like other things. So you can see TV shows come up. You can target, I don't know if you can target Netflix. Yep. So you can target anyone who has an interest in Netflix. You can target Disney, every kind of Disney thing imaginable. Maybe you're looking for people who are on the Disney Channel. So you can really kind of play around with those interests, including television shows, movies, actors, magazines, specific websites. I think the Washington Post might be one. Yeah. So if you wanted people who read a certain publication, you can likely find those publications in here that can also help target the right people as well. So this is where you can have a lot of fun just kind of dialing down into that audience to really be specific to who you are talking to. And finally, client expectations. Clients have all kinds of expectations when it comes to spending money on their business. And a good client will understand that their expectations should align with their budget. But it's not unheard of to get clients where they want you to have massive results and success on a tiny budget of a couple $100s. So they have to be willing to understand that what they're willing to spend on their ads will affect the expectations they should have. So if anyone comes to you and says, I have $100 to spend and I expect it to generate $5,000 in revenue, you know they do not have the right expectations. So, and I'm sure you've seen a bunch of these before in the past, the client budget versus their expectation, client expectations and their budget, and my favorite, their expectations and their budgets. So it is very, very important that you understand that your job as an ads manager is to help them succeed as much as possible, but they need to be willing to invest in their own business to do so. Having an ad budget of $100 is only going to get them probably a bit of brand awareness, and you would likely want to run things like an engagement campaign or video view ad to retarget those people later. If a client has a larger budget and they understand that ads are only a small part of their entire sales strategy, then that is a client who values what you do and will be able to understand that not everything you do in an ad will generate an actual sale in their business, and they shouldn't. Keep in mind when it comes to talking with clients about their ads, you are the expert. You likely know more than your client 99% of the time. I've gotten on calls a number of times with new business owners that don't even know they need to have a Facebook pixel installed in order to track that data. So a lot of times these business owners don't have a clue how ads run, and you are the expert and the one to show them what ads can do for them. Now, being the expert also means to know that their entire sales process and their ability to generate revenue does not fall solely on you. You are only a small part of their full picture. So if someone ever says that they want to work on a commission base with you for ads, the answer should always be no. You are not responsible for generating their entire sales model. Be willing as the expert to tell their client their expectations are not in line with the budget. This is one that I think a lot of people get messed up on, is they think that a client's little budget of $100 or $200, they should be able to generate revenue for them, and that's really not the case. A client has to be willing to expand their budget in order to bring in those sales that they are expecting. So don't be afraid to tell a client that their expectations do not line up with their budget. Another key point is understanding that as an ads manager, your ads are not going to fix a broken business. So if their landing pages are not converting, that's not on you. It means that they have a landing page issue. They need to have their page rebuilt or redesigned. If they're not making sales, and they should be, chances are their offer isn't hitting the audience, or their offer is out of line of what they're wanting. The ads will only amplify what is currently happening in the business. So again, if someone comes to you and says, I'm desperate to make a sale, I need ads to help me, be willing and quite honestly, be the expert and tell them that you cannot help them do that. I always feel for businesses that are in a position where they have to make a sale, but you are doing a detriment to them by having them spend money on ads. That's not going to help them fix their business model. And finally, you want to be confident in your pricing. Even as a beginner, you should never offer this as a free service or a very low priced service, even when you are getting into the industry. You have to value what you bring and what you can help a business accomplish through their ads. So be confident with your pricing. Don't waver on that when you speak to someone. Don't let them negotiate you down on your pricing either. Again, you are the expert. Even as a beginner, you know more than your client 99% of the time. I hope this masterclass helps. If you have any further questions or comments, you can drop them in SMU, and our line of people will help you out with them. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later.